So I've been asked a few times, several times, to do a video to show how to turn this Dollar Tree table into this waterfall style vanity that I made for my dollhouse. Well, I did a video and turned it into this one. Unfortunately, the recording that was 2 parts had 0 sound to it, so I'm redoing it because that just wouldn't work. Alright, so I've got a couple of examples. Like, here's what you're going to start with, and you'll end up with either like this or even this. This one is in process. It's not finished because I haven't decided how I'm going to color or paint this one, or what room, or even which house this is going to go in. I have an abandoned house that I may put this in, so this one may get roughed up a bit. So to get to this point, or even to this point, you're going to take your Dollar Tree table. It's going to go upside down for this. We're going to build on it upside down, so that's going to be upside down. You're going to need mat board. It's also called book board, I believe, if you're looking for it on Amazon. It's the type of paper board that is on the back of like a legal pad, or inside of a picture frame. It's kind of thick. It's thicker than like a cereal box, but you can still cut it with, like, one of my favorite things is this utility knife I got at Walmart. It's like my favorite blade. I will tell you some of my favorite things to use. Hair. None of these things are required, and none of these things are sponsored or I get a kickback or anything from them, because I just don't. I just love them. This is my very favorite ruler. It is the Victor Easy Read ruler. I did get this from Amazon. That's the back. This ruler is very easy to read. It reads all the way down to like the 16th mark on a ruler, which is really good for somebody like me who can't read a ruler for real. If it's the quarter mark, the half mark, the 3/4 mark on a standard ruler, I'm good. Anything in between there, I'm counting ticks. It's like 1, 2, 3 little ticks on the mark, and then I'm 1, 2, 3 little ticks. So I get made fun of because it's 1 and 3 ticks. But with this ruler, I know what the ticks are. So you'll need a ruler to measure this. I also cannot cut a straight line to save my life. Can't cut a straight line. I can't draw a straight line. I'm crooked, I guess. So I use this. It's a T-square that my husband had, and I'm borrowing it from him. So I'll put the corner just on there and do my straight lines to get them straight. You may want to have a cup of coffee handy. That always comes in handy. For the mirror, I get this pack of mirror sheets from Amazon. They're just stick-on mirror sheets, self-adhesive mirror sheets, I think is what it's called on Amazon when you look them up. This one has, Lamoutor, Lamoutor. It's 32 pieces. I think it was like $8 for 32 of these sheets. They're like 6 by 9. They have white on the back, which is really easy if you want to draw on the back, which is what I do to get my shape. I'll draw the shape on the back so I can easily cut it. It's easier than doing it on the front side. This peels off to reveal the mirror, and then the white peels off to reveal the self-adhesive sticker. So you'll need these. This also comes in handy if you've got other mirrored things that you need for your dollhouse. Scrap paper, because that's what we're going to use to draw the shape for the back of this. We're just going to draw it off on some scrap paper. If you have one of these cutters, this is what I'm going to use to cut the half moon shape for the handles. I use this to cut a lot of things for my dollhouse, but it's going to come in handy for this. And then the handles themselves are cut from these snap buttons. I used the like bronzy colored ones from in there, and in this pack of snap buttons there are parts that are like, I guess it's considered the post, and then like the outie, I guess that's going to be the male part of the snap, and then the innie, I guess would be considered the female part of the snap. I'm going to use that one because when you cut that in half and flip it over, it gives you that half moon shape, and then I just glue it on there and paint it, and we are good to go. We'll get to that much later. The other thing you're going to want to have is some sort of sanding, whether that's an emery board of some sort, sandpaper, or my friend Heather sent me these little sticks that have sandpaper on the tips of them. That comes in pretty handy too. I love these little things. You're going to want some sort of a little cheap paintbrush. These just came from, I think, Hobby Lobby. Some Mod Podge. I use the gloss Mod Podge to seal the mat board. You'll need glue. My favorite glue is this Crafter's Pick, the Ultimate. This bottle is empty. I have to make a trip to Hobby Lobby to grab some. That's where I picked this up. So I'm going to use Aleene's Original Tacky Glue. It's my other go-to when I run out of Crafter's Pick. So Aleene's just this original tacky. If you have other glue that you use, wood glue works just fine because this is paper and this is wood, so wood glue will hold it just fine, but this works good. I keep a cup handy just to keep my glue upside down because it's easier than shaking the glue and making it come to the end all the time. So I just keep a little cup handy with my glue upside down. You may want a little pair of scissors close by in case you need those. I keep a pencil and a pen handy because I hate getting up all the time to go grab stuff. A little pair of pliers. Again, this used to belong to my husband. They're on my craft table now. So what we're going to start doing, this table has broken up into 3 little sections. It's like 3 drawers, okay? And there's 3 little knobs. You can leave those on if you want them there. I removed them for the ones I made. I took them off because I did not need or want those little knobs on my dresser bottoms. So they're real easy to take off. You just take the needle nose pliers and pull them out. If they come, that one was easy. If they come out complete, that's great. Sometimes they don't. Yeah. Example. This one. There's always one. Okay. So if it doesn't come off smooth, no big deal. We'll just sand it. It's okay. Now, the next thing you're going to do is we're going to measure around this table. Now, the measurements for this one may end up being different than the measurements for that one, and the measurements for this one, or the measurements for yours. This is a Dollar Tree dollhouse table. I have gotten many of these to turn into other things. I've turned them into record player stands with the tops that flip up. I've turned them into bathroom vanities. I've turned them into a lot of different things. These are not made flush. They're just not. they're Dollar Tree tables, so it is what it is. Sometimes the legs are crooked, sometimes they're off a little bit, and we just go with it. If we have to straighten them up, we do, and if we get them in there straight, then all the better. So the table may be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, or a little bit off center, the one you're working on versus the one I'm working on. So just measure yours. I've measured mine, but what we're going to do is measure the end of it, from the end of here to the end of here and across. Mine is 1 3/8 inch across, so I'm going to need two, one for each end. That's 1 3/8 inch across, and I'm going to need two that are 2 1/4 inch tall. So 2 1/4 inch tall by 1 3/8. So I need two. All right, and then on the front, we're going to need a piece for the front and the back. Front and the back, because we're going to box these legs in. We're just going to box them in. So we're going to make the sides, and then we're going to make a front and a back, because we're going to box it in. All right, so we're going to measure the front from here to the first drawer line. Now, if you want to make yours wider, you can. If you want to make it shorter, you can. No harm, no foul. It's your piece. Mine, I'm just doing this way. So going across, I'm going to need 1 1/8. No, 1 3/16, I think, is the measurement. No, let's go with 1 1/8. 1 1/8. And then height, we're going to go with 1 13/16. Yep, 1 13/16. Okay, and I'm going to need 4 of those. So let's do 1 1/8. Where is my 8? Here, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 13/16. Okay. So, oh gosh, let me get to a position where I can do this easily. So, let's draw my lines, get them straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 13/16 mark. Okay, and then I've got the ones for the end. So those are going to be the pieces I'm going to cut so far. I do have a silicone mat under where I'm going to cut, just because I've got this on like a footstool in my living room, and this is just a piece of wood that I again borrowed from my husband for this video in my living room. And just to keep from scraping up this wood and from dulling my blade too much, I do have a silicone mat under here. If I didn't have that silicone mat, I probably would just put a piece of cardboard box under here. That way my blade had something to go through to keep it from scraping anything up and keep it from dulling up my blade. I don't need anything like super fancy to do this. It's just to keep it from dulling up the blade. I don't think I have that cut straight or drawn straight. I do not. 13, 16. 13, 16. See, even with that ruler, I still didn't draw a straight line. Good thing I didn't cut it yet. But even to my special eyes, I could see that that line was going to be crooked. And I could not blame that on the table being off center. That would just be completely my fault, and then I'd be frustrated because I'd have to do another draw out, another cut, and then that's just more stuff I'd have to do. So I get frustrated with me, but I'm not perfect, but that's okay. None of us are. Alright, so these are going to go on the ends of the tables. Sorry, that was a little loud. Put a little glue on there. Now, if you get some fuzzy things on the ends of this mat board because it is paper, if your blade cuts and leaves like little fuzzy pieces sticking off, that's not a big deal. Shave them off with your emery board. But kind of hold on to them, and I'll tell you why. Because these shavings can come in real handy if you have a spot on your table, or if you're working on a different project. Say you're making a bed or an entertainment system or a cabinet. I'm making a cabinet for my dining room. If you're making something else and it's just not flush, if you're shaving off some of this mat board, it's like paper sawdust. So then you'll have a pile of it on your scrap paper, just like sawdust stuff from this mat board. When you put your glue on to any cracks and crevices that you need to fill in, just take your little finger and pop some of that and just smear it, and it fills it right in, and then it dries like wood filler. And then you've got it all filled in, and then you can just continue on, and it's just like free wood filler. And it's the same product that this is made out of. You just save in your scraps, and it comes in real handy. Just a little thing I figured out in doing this. I just save my little shaving scraps. Alright. Because I never know when I might have something that's off-centered, especially when I'm working with something that might not be straight. Or, knowing myself, I just drew out a straight line that wasn't straight. Bless my heart. And I can see the leg on this side, putting this piece on, that leg is not straight. It's off. So that leg is not straight. So this dresser, this one, it's not going to be flush. So I'm going to have some gaps. So I'm going to have some stuff to fill in. And that's okay. I can see that's going to be an issue, and I'm going to have to work around that. And that's okay. Alright. So now this is going to go there. And this one will go here. I'm making this one a little bit shorter. I had said that we're going to measure it to go in between the dresser drawers. I'm making mine just a touch skinnier because I made both of these to fit almost right in between those dresser drawers. This one was exactly, and I think that's a little bit too big. It's a little bit too big for my taste. This one was a little bit better because it's not exactly to the crease to them drawers. This one was a little bit bigger. This is a little bit smaller. So the one I'm going to make now, it's a little bit skinnier, which is going to give me more room for this middle vanity. It's going to give me more leeway to work on the middle part here, and that's okay. You'll get the gist of how to make this, and you can just do yours however you want. If you want it to go all the way out, do it all the way out. Okay. Your house, your rules. Nobody's going to be mad at you. Alright. Okay. And then this one, we'll do the same thing. I only have to glue two sides, the bottom and then the part that's going to be on here on the leg. There's no need to put glue on the top of it going across or on the part going down because there's nothing to glue it to. So we only have to glue the side and the bottom, and it'll be fine. It'll hold it just fine because it's an L-shaped glue, and it'll hold it just fine for what we're going to do. We're going to turn it over. Now, we're not ever going to actually see the back because we're going to cover the back up. If you wanted to skip putting this on the back, you could. I'm not going to because I just think it's going to make it a more solid piece for what I'm doing, and I like it to be a little bit more solid. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my piece on the back. And also when I go to put the top on it, I like to know that I have that back on there. Okay. Alright. I'll probably do this video in 2 parts because it'll get too long to try to do it all as one video, but that's alright. This is what we have so far. You can see where we're going with this. If you just wanted to stop and take off with it from here, you could. But this is what we have so far. Now we have to measure the inside. Okay, so now we're going to measure from this side to this side in height. Okay, so it's going to be this not quite the same height. But then we have an issue too, because this table is lower on the front than it is on the back. See, it's got that little lip, so we have to accommodate that little lip. And that's not a big deal because we're just going to cut a little notch in it. That's all we're going to do. All right, so mine is measuring 1 7/16. And I write directly on my mat board because it don't matter. I can put the part that I write with my pencil on the inside. If I put it on the outside, it's fine. I do it both ways. You can see my pencils on there. It's okay because I'm going to put some Mod Podge over it and then I'm going to paint it anyway. So I'll never see that. I don't have to erase it. It's going to disappear. Alright, 1 7/16, and then height wise, we are going with let's see, 1. Don't need to be exactly that tall. Hold up. Hold up, where's my, I can't see it. One and 13, 16. So I need 2 of that. 1 and 7/16. I 1 and 13/16. Make sure I get it straight across now, because a while ago I almost had a little fit. What did I do with my? Oh, there it is. I might have this a little tall. The other one's 1 13/16, and this I don't think needs to be that tall, though. That's what it said on the measurement, but maybe I'm not reading it right. Okay. Let's see. Let's cut out my little notch. Okay, so now it's not, this is why we're gonna have to do a notch, because if we put it on that little ledge back there, we got a gap, and we're gonna see that gap when we put all of our middle together. But if we put it like that in front of that little ledge, we've got that great big gap in the back. It don't come all the way, I don't know whether you can see that right there, it don't come all the way to the back, and we're going to see that gap. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to mark a little lip right there, and I'm just going to cut a little square out. Once this sets down over it, you won't see it. Okay, so let's see, did I get that right? Okay, so now, oh shoot, heaven help me. All right, if you can see where that little part is over that little notch back there, that is what we were going for. And I do have this cut just a little bit off. Oh, you know why? Because this leg is off. That's why. Doggone you. Okay, it's okay. I'll mark it right here, and I'll just take a little bit off the top. Okay. Alright, now that fits just fine. Voila. Okay, now to get the other notch to match up, I'm just going to lay the one that I've already cut on top of the other one. Take my little pencil. It works really much better if you have a sharp point on your pencil. That way you get like really precise little lines. I try to keep my pencil pretty sharp, but don't always work out. Okay, is this one right? Now see, that one cut just about right. Okay, this one wasn't because of that leg being a little bit off. Okay, so now I can glue them on there, and we've got that part done. Okay, put a little glue on the bottom. Uh-oh. Alright. Okay. And we will do the same thing to this one. Put a little on the very bottom because it's what's going to touch the table. Put a little on the sides because it's what's going to touch the other pieces of wood. Not wood, mat board. It's touching the mat board. It's going to touch the wood on the bottom, the mat board on the sides. Alright, so we have this so far. It's looking like a vanity so far. So good. Okay, now we have to measure the middle, and this is where you can get creative because not every vanity of this era looks like this. Some of them just have a table, like a little tray across the middle. They don't have this whole bottom, and that's okay. You can do yours however you want. This one I'm just going to make it kind of similar because I like that look. So I've got this at 1 3/4. And I'm going to decide how tall do I want it to be. How about we go with 1 7/8? And let's see how that looks. So I need 2 of those. One for the front and one for the back. So let's do 1 3/4. 1 7/8. How big is this? How big is this one? Do I have enough to get one here? I do not. Okay, that's alright. Let's go down here. 1 3/4. 1 3/4. And then 1. Not 1 7/8, just 7/8. I was like, that's way too tall. So 7/8 is right here. Alright. Erase some of them marks so I don't mess myself up. Okay, so alrighty. 7/8 is right here. Okay. I'll draw it from the other end because my top is cut now, so to get my straight edge I'll go to the bottom because that's where my straight edge is now. Okay, we'll put the back one in first. And that back one, it doesn't matter like if it's going to go right in front of the lip. The only thing I'm using it for is to help support the top when I put the top on it. So this back one is just going to go in front of that little lip. And you see I didn't put my glue upside down, so I'm having to shake it because that's my fault. When I do part 2 of this video, I'm going to have to pull my hair up because I try to leave it down as much as I can, but it's hard for me to do anything with my hair down. It gets on my nerves. Thankful to have my hair, but thankful that when I had cancer, I didn't lose any of it, so I try to be real thankful for it. I think I like that look up here better. And let's put this one in the back because this one's not as pretty. And the one that you're going to put in the front, you can put it wherever you want it to be. Hold on, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I want mine to be back set just a touch. Okay. All right. So I inset mine just a little, so it's not flush. You can make it flush, which is almost what I did with this one. This one I back set it just a touch. And this one I'm back setting it just a touch to make it have a little bit of a lip. Now for this base, what I did on this one and what I did on this one, just to give it some decoration and to make it not look so much like a Dollar Tree table, I cut the end of that in the middle. So the way I did that, while the rest of this is drying, I'll show you that. And then we'll probably stop the video because it looks like we're at about 36 minutes. And so that's probably going to take a long time already to upload that. So there's already a little line here and a little line here. I'm just going to follow those lines and I'm going to cut this middle piece out. It's real easy to cut with this blade. I love this blade. It's just a cheap little blade from Walmart. I think it was like $2, maybe $2.97, and it came with extra blades. And this is the handiest blade. It's nothing fancy, nothing expensive. I like to raid my husband's tools, or I like to go to Home Depot and Lowe's and just look around and see what they have in the men's tools. I know they're not necessarily men's tools, but people don't expect to see a lot of women over there looking for tools that we can use for our own contracting, for our own dollhouse building and whatnot. Okay. Haha. Okay. So that cut off real easy. Just one slice down, and then I just cut it off even right there. Now it will have a little bit of maybe splintering or some that doesn't cut off even. You are going to want to sand it. This little nail file emery board thing is real good for that. It fits right in there. Several people have asked me, well, what made you think to turn that table upside down and make this vanity out of this table upside down? Well, listen, I don't know. My kids tell me I have like some weird version of AutoCAD in my head. If I can look at something, whether it's like this Dollar Tree table or any random object, if I can look at it and see it in my head and rotate it and 3D visualize it into what I want it to be, if I get that vision in my head, I can usually make it in the real. So we laugh and joke and say, Mom 3D does it. It's my 3D do it. This is my 3D do it. I 3D did it in my head first, and then I 3D did it in the real. So this is my 3D do it vanity. Maybe I should do some videos on 3D do it's. Other things that I 3D do it. Like right now, my little boy's room in this farmhouse, I want him to have a dinosaur room, like a Jurassic Park type room, maybe. So I'm kind of hard pressed between making like the Jurassic Park gate bed or the Jurassic Park Jeep bed. for this poor little boy that lives in my dollhouse room. So I'm visualizing it in my head, and then I'm going to end up 3D doing it. So maybe that'll be a video for whichever one of those I decide on. But that's what that is looking like so far. Now, I'm going to end the video here. We're at 40 minutes. A lot of this was chit-chat, I know, but this is what it gets us to. When I do the second part of the video, we'll do the tops. I'm not going to do the tops out of mat board. I will do the tops out of like basswood. It just gives it a whole different look to it. We'll do drawer fronts. I'm going to do a different type of drawer front for this one than I did on this one. I'm going to attempt something different, but I'll show you both of those when I do them. We will seal it with the Mod Podge and paint it and put the drawer handles on it, and I'll show you how to do the backing and put the mirror, cut all that out. All that will be in the second video. But this was the first one, and I appreciate you for watching so far, and hanging out with me in my living room this early in the morning to 3D do it with me.